VP of Research Pierre Rochard at Riot Blockchain put out a video response to the New York Times article smearing Bitcoin miners, and it caused an absolute meltdown. Welcome back, everyone. Well, Bitcoiners responded to the New York Times piece smearing Bitcoin miners, and as you guessed it, part of the internet melted down. Anyways, we're going to take a look at what happened, but most importantly at the end, we're going to show some signal in all of this because there's a pattern. There's definitely a pattern. Okay, so here we go. We all remember this, the real world costs of the digital race for Bitcoin. Thank you, New York Times, for possibly helping that pump to 30K. Who knows? Who knows? Just saying. So there was a video put out by Riot Platforms, or Riot Blockchain, which is a publicly traded company that does mining in the state of Texas. And Pierre Rochard, fellow Bitcoiner, is the VP of research there. And let's take a look. Let's take a look at this video that he put out. I mean, at this point, I think almost every single Bitcoiner has watched it, but I think it's important that we show this video because he is a great troll. He's fantastic, and it just it warms my heart. Warms my heart. Anyways, let's go.
We're here out in Rockdale, Texas. We've got lots of plants here. These plants are consuming CO2 and emitting oxygen, which is fantastic. When we measure CO2 out here, we're in the green. There are very low levels of CO2, 455 parts per million of CO2. Just fantastic reading. Rockdale has some of the freshest air I've ever breathed. So this is a great
That's Rockdale, not Rockland, New York Times.
way to establish a baseline. We're going to go inside the mining facility and we're going to see how much is this number going to go up. If the number does not go up, then the mining rigs are not emitting any CO2. If the number goes down, that would be interesting as well. So let's find out. This is where the science happens. This is the largest Bitcoin mining facility in the United States. Outside, we were at 455 parts per million of CO2. Inside, we're at 428 parts per million of CO2. So CO2 levels actually decrease a little bit by entering this Bitcoin mining facility. That might just be a measurement error. But in any case, so far, our going thesis is that Bitcoin mining does not emit any CO2 at all. But let's go to an air-cooled building and see if that's the case there as well. We're on the air intake side of this air-cooled mining facility. We're still out here in Rockdale at Riot's world-leading mining facility. We're at 452 CO2 parts per million, still in the green. This is good. This is good. We're going to see in the hot aisle where the exhaust is coming out of, how much CO2 is coming out of the Bitcoin mining rigs. Let's find out. All right. We're going to put the meter just right behind a fan so that we're blowing all of the air onto the meter. And we're going to see what it's going to change here in terms of measurements. We're still at 452 parts per million. This result makes me think that there might not be any CO2 coming out of the Bitcoin mining rig.
Okay. Okay, before we continue with the meltdowns from the eco warriors, I just want to point something out, right? So look, the thing is this: Bitcoin it uses electricity, right? The same way that every single one of our devices are using electricity. I'm powering my laptop right now. That electricity comes from an electrical generation plant, right? And there's different methods, as we know, for generating electricity: hydro, coal. You know, there's wind, which isn't very big. So, anyways. So, but the point is that they're using electricity. They don't generate any CO2. So it's just funny because the green cars that all these people are sitting there like, you got to power the cars. They got to be green. What the fuck you think is, where do you think that electricity is coming from? You think that's all just unicorn energy? You know, it's just coming out of nowhere. Unicorn farts turning into energy for Teslas. No, you fools. Okay, it's coming from the same places that's powering Bitcoin mining rigs. So as we can see, right, this has nothing to do with the environment. This has nothing. Nobody cares. This is what I said in my last clip. Nobody cares about the environment. This is an attack on Bitcoin. Now, let's take a look at some of the meltdown reactions that we got on Twitter. All right, we've got Dana Nucitelli. Here we go. Research coordinator for Citizens Climate. Environmental scientist. He does the science.
Putting in the man hours to study the science of what you need.
Last week, we put liquid paper on a bee, and it died.
Climate journalist for CC Yale. Okay, so heavy creds. This definitely the system has made him feel that he is knowledgeable. His knowledge cannot be wrong. There's no way anybody can doubt it. Anyways, if you thought Bitcoin was awful before, check out this amazing bit of disinformation. But of course, doesn't actually offer anything, right? It's just like that. That's just what he puts out. Oh, and here we go. Here's the response, right? So shout out to fellow Bitcoiner, Isaiah. So he comes in and goes, where's the disinformation? He showed you the science right there. And he comes in and goes, CO2 pollution comes from the electricity consumed, not the equipment itself. What? But Pierre stood on both sides of those mines. You know what? I'm not even going to go there. It's these people are hilarious. All right, let's continue. All right, we've got Ben McKenzie. Let's take a look. Who's Ben? All right, easy money drops. All right, so whatever. Not an environmental eco warrior, but nonetheless, definitely salty about what's going on. Oh, crypto industry, I missed your dumbass. Actually, it's just Bitcoin. Nobody cares about the shitcoins. I think one of the funniest reactions that we're getting is coming out of PC Gamer. Here we go. Never bet on things not getting stupider. Right? And this was written by Andy Chalk, who apparently did not take the time to learn anything about Bitcoin, but is definitely upset. He's upset. He's going to let everybody know. By the way, this link is going to be in the show notes if you guys want to dive through this. All he does is just like you can feel the anger in the article. He's so angry. Anyways, if you thought things couldn't get stupider, someone just held a CO2 reader up to a PC to prove Bitcoin mining has zero carbon emissions. That's right. This is how much of a stupid clown world we are in. Okay? That Pierre had to go out and make a video like this to clown the eco warriors and to clown New York Times. Anyways, let's continue. I don't know who Jason Poulin is, but he's definitely doing a good job of showing everybody that he hasn't done any research either. Here we go. Bitcoin is a cartel. I'd really like to know who the cartel is. I'd like to know how you gain membership to the cartel, who these people are. But I do appreciate it. So keep in mind, right? The media has painted the Bitcoin white paper as the Bitcoin manifesto in the last 2 weeks. And now, well, not now, but as of recently, we are also a cartel. Awesome. So Bitcoin is a cartel making only the few very rich. Yeah, definitely. That's what it is. Because it's not just anybody that can buy Bitcoin and accumulate it. It's only very few and the very rich, right? Or very few, very rich. Anyways, to insist there are no environmental impacts, which we don't. We never insist that there are no environmental impacts. As much energy as 40,000 homes is disingenuous at best. It's holding the energy providers hostage. Oh my gosh, listen to this guy. In turn, passing the rising cost to residential users. A total scam. No, another person who did not take the time to learn anything about Bitcoin. So, Jason, I mean, you're not going to see this video anyways, but the point is this, okay? In regions where it's extremely expensive to mine Bitcoin, people don't mine Bitcoin. So they go to regions where the demand for the electricity, regardless of what technology they're using to make that electricity, the price for that electricity per kilowatt is low enough, then it's worth it to mine Bitcoin. So that indicates that there's no cost being passed on to a residential user because that residential user isn't there. The Bitcoin miner is there. Anyways, you could see the cope from these people. It's absolutely hilarious. Anyways, let's continue because he said more smart things. Bodacita777 responded to Jason and said, you do understand that Bitcoin balances grids and allows for renewable energy to be built out further, don't you? On top of that, it uses 67% renewable and stranded energy sources and climbing. And why? It's very simple. Cheaper, more efficient energy is how miners remain profitable. That does make sense. I don't know what we can do with that one. Here we go. You do understand that and this is Jason's response. You do understand that you're not and this is it, right? This is it, because they don't understand why Bitcoin. So for them, it's just an absolute meltdown. You do understand that you're not mining anything useful for mankind, right? Actually, we are. Censorship-resistant ledger that the government can't debase. My time, which is really what's important to me, because one day I die, okay? One day we all die. So our time is finite, which means our time is extremely important. But Jason is the lucky winner of a lot of brainwashing. So he doesn't give a shit about his time. He's ready to give it all up for the state. Yay, state, take my time. Anyways, you make it sound like a noble pursuit. It's like making a space station on the moon. Its only purpose is to keep mining in space, bringing nothing home. Like I said, it makes the very few very rich. Jason, you are going to have fun staying poor. And unfortunately for you, you are not going to take the time to understand Bitcoin until it's too late. And don't get me wrong, even when it's too late, you'll still be able to buy it, but you're really going to wish that you had taken the time to understand it sooner. Anyways, let's continue, because the carnage is not over. The carnage is not over. This is our last wrecked environmental warrior. Here we go. Let's see. Climate change, energy policy, baked goods, cycles, free healing, turn earner. Okay, good stuff. All right, so he sounds like he's just a wonderful dude. Nice. So let's see what he had to say about the Riot blockchain video. This is the stupidest video I've ever seen, and this person is incredibly stupid. I have to say, these are very good points. And if this is the bog standard Bitcoin bro, then anyone who's even shared a room with them is at risk of becoming terminally stupid. Okay, so that's 3 stupids. Definitely a vast vocabulary here. I'm just pointing that out. Oh my God, the stupidity. Boom, we hit 4. It burns. Make it stop. Matthew's angry. He is mad. Mad at Bitcoin. He's mad at Riot. He's mad at Pierre. Maybe there's a reason for him being so angry at Bitcoin. We are going to thank Greg Zaj for pulling this one out of the archives. This is a tweet from December 17th. From December 7th, 2017. Half my Bay Area community is in Bitcoin and keep asking me why I'm not. I get a little eye twitch, which, by the way, may be a potassium deficiency. Just putting that out there. And reply, pets.com. Oh, Matthew. So you're one of those wrecked, salty no-coiners, right? That didn't get Bitcoin and decided not to buy it at all because you were so angry at it because it made no sense and it was stupid. So you went and you did this. You compared it to pets.com. So look, pets.com lasted from 1998 till about the mid-2000s, about 2 years. Bitcoin has been going for about 14 years. So yeah, it's a little bit bigger than pets.com. And also, pets.com was a website on the internet, whereas Bitcoin has been likened to the TCP/IP protocol, which is the language that all the internet speaks. So yeah, he's just a very, very salty no-coiner. Now, I want to point out there was a great rebuttal, right? Because there have been amazing rebuttals about what the New York Times piece put out. And I just want to give a shout out to Rory Highside, because he put out an awesome rebuttal about, and for the people who don't know Rory, he's a low-key Bitcoiner, and I definitely suggest you follow him. I've been following him for 5 years, and you know what? Dude never ceases to amaze me. Okay, so this is a tweet thread that was started by Level 39, but he references Rory's tweet. Now, one of the things that Bitcoiners noticed was that the pictures looked unusually hazy. Like there was, some type of distortion, like possibly those pictures were either taken at specific times of the day to paint the specific narrative, or possibly these pictures were doctored. Now, guys, I'm going to have the link to the thread from Level 39 so you can go through all of it. Okay, he puts together fantastic threads, another account that you should follow. But take a look, right? So Rory was putting together his own thread at the beginning, and which I believe he's still doing, but he's talking about the color schemes of the fields, okay? And he's talking about pseudo-color, converting subtle pixel intensity differentials into extreme color shifts, making it easier to detect content cloning and intensity clipping, which will appear as identical colors. Now, look, I am not going to pretend to understand all of this stuff, okay? I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend with you guys that I understand all of this. But one thing I am going to say to other people that do understand what Rory's explaining, please check it out. Let us know. I believe that he's accurate, and I do know that when media wants to paint a specific picture, they're going to do what they absolutely have to do to paint that narrative. So I wouldn't put it past the mainstream media on this. So I said at the beginning, right, that there was going to be, what was the signal? What was the signal takeaway from all of this? Guys, I just went through 5 or 6 different tweets out of hundreds, and all they did was call Riot blockchain stupid. They called Bitcoiners stupid. Not one of these people, not one of these organizations had a valid point against Bitcoin. They don't, because the problem is this. Everything, this is what I said at the beginning, everything we use is using these energy sources. The energy is all coming from all of these sources. So they can't just be blaming Bitcoin. And for Bitcoin miners to be profitable, they have to go to areas with very cheap electricity, which means that electricity is not being used or is very difficult to get to. So they don't actually have any evidence. And we are watching this eco warrior narrative against Bitcoin fall apart in real time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you all tomorrow.